My parents did an incredible job of helping me build healthy associations with money. It wasn't just about learning numbers, it was about understanding how balance and intentionality shaped our financial lives. Those early lessons set me up for success and helped me navigate the real world with more confidence when it came to money. And it's a big reason why I'm so excited to share today's sponsor with you, Acorns Early. Acorns Early is a smart money app and a debit card for kids that helps them learn the value of money. Kids can spend what they earn with their very own debit card. They'll love the new sense of independence and getting to choose from 35 plus customizable card designs. Plus, parents can keep track of where and when their kids are spending. You can get real-time spend notifications, set your kids' spending limits, and instantly block lost or stolen cards. They might not realize it now, but starting to invest early is going to have a huge impact on their financial future. And the best part? It's simple. And Acorns Early is such a smart, accessible tool to do that. If you're looking for a way to make a real difference in the financial future of the younger people in your life, Acorns Early is an amazing place to start. Ready to help your kids learn the value of money? Just head to acornsearly.com/diaries or download the Acorns Early app to get started. Sign up now and your first month is on us. T&Cs apply. Monthly subscription fee starting from $5 per month unless canceled.
Summer is right around the corner. If you know me, you know it's not really my favorite season for a lot of reasons that I won't get into. Something I can get into, though, is that the folks at Mint Mobile say that getting a summer bod is out and getting your savings bod is in. This spring and summer, Mint Mobile wants to see your skimpy wireless bills and fat wallets. Premium wireless plans for just $15 a month. You can have both without breaking a sweat or the bank. Say bye to your overpriced wireless plans with jaw-dropping monthly bills and unexpected overages. Mint Mobile is going to rescue you. All Mint Mobile plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. The best part is that you can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with you. Ditch overpriced wireless and get 3 months of premium wireless service from Mint Mobile for $15 a month. This year, skip breaking a sweat and breaking the bank. Get your summer savings and shop premium wireless plans at mintmobile.com/diaries. That's mintmobile.com/diaries. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month 5 GB plan required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customer offer for 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
Hilton brings you new ways to stay, with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
Welcome back to another episode of Unscripted. I'm Natalie.
And I'm Paige.
This is where we talk about everything that is going on online, because we are chronically online, every single story that we've come across and we have been dying to talk about. And one of those things is the fact that today, the day of recording, Monday, May 5th, is Met Gala Monday. And I feel like that's a really fun event to talk about at the top of this episode.
It's exclusive. It's very intriguing. And sometimes I get angry at myself for caring about what they're wearing. And I just think this is so stupid and self-indulgent, but it does have a good cause that gets a little bit erased by all the hubbub of who fell down the stairs and who was wearing a dress made out of meat or whatever. But it is interesting. And there's a theme every year. And this year, what's the theme?
So this year, it's a little more than who or what. The theme is spotlighting menswear and Black style. And honestly, it's about time. It should be a really great evening of good clothes, lots of different looks, and I'm excited for it. I'm here for it.
I saw a TikTok that was showing the difference. It's the girl who always does the Disney knees. She's hilarious. I love all of her TikToks. And she was showing the difference between women celebrities at the Met, and like all the cameras flashing, like elaborate things that they can't even sit down in. They literally even like change once they're inside because the runway outfits might even be different, like just showcasing how it's different for women. And then the men get on the red carpet and it's like, click,
Yeah.
click, over here,
Single
click,
shot.
click. Cool. We're good. We got it. And they go, is that it? Is that all to your outfit? And he's, oh, and puts on sunglasses. Like, okay, we're good. And I think it will be interesting to see men's style highlighted this year, what that brings if they get a little bit more funky and intriguing, or if it just stays, because it's like celebrating Black style from a certain era. I think they referred to it as like more of a dapper kind of style.
Yes, I was actually going to jump in. So I guess the official theme is called Superfine, tailoring Black style. And it's based on Monica L. Miller's book, Slaves to Fashion, which is all about Black dandyism and the power of styling in shaping identity across the diaspora. Something else that makes this year special is the fact that it's the first Met Gala in over 20 years that is focusing exclusively on menswear. So when I said we are talking about menswear and Black style, this is really a focus on menswear, which, like you said, you're mentioning the fact that most of the time it's about what the women wore.
Yeah.
So it'll be intriguing to see how the men pull up to this event.
Lest you forgot, this is the same gala or event, if you will, that Kim K went in Marilyn Monroe's dress, and she only wore it on the red carpet. She changed into a mock of it, I think, for the actual event, like a mock up of it, like a remake.
Yes. I remember reading that while she was on the red carpet for the Met Gala, she was wearing Marilyn Monroe's dress, but it wouldn't zip up all the way, or there was some issue with the zipper in the back of the dress. And this is like her Pete Davidson era when she's dating him.
Yep.
But she had a first stow or something behind her to cover the back. And then once she got inside, she wore basically a replica that was more in her sizing of the dress so that it could go back to, I believe it's Ripley's Believe It or Not that owns the dress, that lent it to her.
And everybody was very upset, and I get it. Mm-hmm. She probably could have just done a replica and then had some other homage to Marilyn, if you ask me.
Yeah, but it's Kim K. She has to be extra.
She has to be extra. And I do get it. It's a once in a lifetime thing, and it is a dress. There are many other ways we can commemorate Marilyn Monroe that aren't as delicate as a dress. But I remember at the time, too, that people were saying, basically, I don't even need to see the dress to know that there is damage. Fashion historians and people like that, I don't even need to look at it. There is 0% chance she wore it, and that there wasn't stress to the dress and to the fabric because it's such an old dress.
It's an old dress, but also the style of the dress. I don't know if it was beaded or sequenced, but I've had a few long gowns that I wore to prom and other events that were beaded and sequenced. And it doesn't matter how careful you are, you're going to lose beads and it's going to happen. It's unavoidable. So it's unfortunate, but she made the statement she wanted. She got people talking and
she looked good while she did it.
Yeah, she looked really good.
Yeah, I will never not say that about her. You don't have to love the Kardashian Jenners. I don't think I love them. I'm very intrigued by them, obviously, and interested in them, but I can't say I love them. How
could we not be?
Say she's
right,
gorgeous. Not that she's super old either, but she just looks so good for her age. And I'm not saying she looks so good because for how old she is. I just mean compare her with other people her age. She looks so good.
Okay, so this is actually the perfect transition to another topic about the Met Gala I wanted to talk about.
Ooh.
So we need to talk about how next level the prep has gone for this event. There is an article that just came out on The Cut by Jennifer Sullivan. She is a beauty editor. And basically she writes that it takes a 6-figure routine just to look, as she says, effortless on the red carpet for this specific event.
I believe it. I believe it.
We're talking lymphatic drainage massages, muscle sculpting machines, lasers, IV drips. Not to mention, there's this one drug that a lot of the attendees apparently take. It's a beta blocker called propranolol.
Propranolol?
Propranolol, yes. And
what it does essentially is it calms you so that you're not excessively sweating and nervous, and you're able to do your interviews and walk the red carpet with ease. And then on top of that, you have these extravagant measures that people are going to. They're also doing specific eye lifting drops called Upneek. And basically, when you're getting your makeup done, it's a prescription that will make your eyes look more awake so that your makeup looks even better. So hearing all of that, it's pretty clear that glam squads are now coordinating with a lot of dermatologists and pharmacists, because we have those beta blockers, we have these eye drops, we have all of these IV drips that people are taking just to look fresh and awake and extra. So it's not just makeup, it's basically a medical team that people are working with.
Sounds exhausting.
Honestly, yes. And that makes me wonder, I have to ask, how far is too far when it comes to pre-gala tweaking? If you need a prescription for a beta blocker or an IV drip to attend a party with your peers, is it too much? Is it worth just staying home?
It makes you wonder when all this started or why. Because if you think back to even old school Hollywood, the golden age of Hollywood back in like the 40s, yeah, they had certain drugs for weight loss and stuff, but overall, all of the cosmetic stuff, that wasn't a thing. Facelifts and NAD infusions and taking propranolol. Well, I guess they did have pills, but you get what I'm saying. Like a lot of the other cosmetic stuff that they're doing, the celebrities didn't do it back then. They didn't have perfect teeth. They didn't have veneers. They barely probably had braces. You can watch old movies and you can see how much more natural-ish they look, if that's the word that I would use. You could just tell they're not super enhanced.
They definitely were less enhanced than they are today, but there are people that were part of the golden age of Hollywood. This is actually something I talk about in one of my classes. It has to do with identity and everything. But there's a particular actress that comes to mind. Her name is Rita Hayworth, and she was actually of Hispanic heritage. And she was an actress. Her name wasn't originally Rita Hayworth, but she eventually underwent a lot of cosmetic procedures, including electrosis, to raise her hairline so she would look more white passing. And so there are things that were being done, but maybe they were more experimental. I know Marilyn Monroe did get a nose job. That was something. I can't imagine getting a nose job in the 40s, by the way. How terrifying. But yeah, there were things going on, but not to the extent you're saying that things are happening right now.
Yeah, it's just grown and grown. They don't really get a break from it. It has to be mentally taxing. I know it's mentally taxing.
And financially expensive. 6 figures to get ready for one night.
One event.
Yeah.
And that's why you've got the Rihanna and the Kim K's, who are no longer millionaires or multimillionaires. They're billionaires, which we've talked about this before, but I love to say it because it brings perspective. 1 million is 1 week. Think of a 1 week old baby.
Like a time span.
A time span. A billionaire is 32 years. So a billionaire is like the parent to the $1 million. And it's hard to think because you just think, okay, there's million, then billion, and you don't really get to grasp the insane gap there is between 1 million and 1 billion.
I saw someone write online, the difference between $1 million and $1 billion is $1 billion.
Yeah.
1 million is nothing compared to $1 billion. I mean, I would love to have 1 million, but it just doesn't measure up to what $1 billion.
They're in their own
is.
leagues.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The million's JV, whereas billion is varsity or beyond varsity. Shoot. It's
they're
like
pro.
College level. Yeah. Or they're pro. There you go. It's like JV in high school versus pro football. I mean, time does really help put it into perspective though. 1 week to 32 years it really puts it in perspective. Anyways, all that to say, again, that it puts into perspective why and who's invited, and 100,000 to them is probably $100 to us or something if you actually do the math.
I'm really glad you brought that up because it is an important perspective to have when we're talking about the lengths that these people go to prepare for these sort of events. It's a drop in the bucket, the cost for them. And I think it's also a way that we can acknowledge and stop pretending that celebrities just wake up looking the way that they do on red carpets, because we know better. We know how far they're going to look the way that they look. And it's probably months, weeks, days that it takes for them just to fit into a certain dress. I believe going back to Marilyn Monroe's dress and Kim Kardashian, she literally starved herself to fit into that dress. She had a very small, low calorie, maybe no calorie diet at the time.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Those around her should have not let her do that. But again, she's a grown woman. So what were they really going to do? And I'm sure there were people expressing concern to her. So who am I to pretend that I know? And she's pretty strong-headed when it comes to something she wants to achieve. And I can respect that in her. She has a lot of dreams and she actually is pretty decent at what she wants to do. She was not that bad in American Horror Story. And that was impressive to me. That meant that she actually did put in the work of learning how to act professionally, scripted, not just reality show. And
yeah.
so
and we know reality shows are a little bit scripted, but
of course.
Yeah, she definitely had to pull out those acting chops that most of us didn't know she had.
Murphy's not just going to put her in there to put her in there. He didn't need that for American Horror Story. I'm going to say it has a cult following, don't you think?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
It actually is a really good show.
It really is a good show. I have news about another actor who's lesser known. Now, are you aware of the incident that happened on April 26th at the Lapu Festival in Vancouver?
No, fill me in.
So the festival is a festival that celebrates Filipino culture. I am not super familiar with it, so that's all that I do know. But a Hallmark star named Noel Johansson or Johansson, his wife was killed in the attack.
Oh my
Her
gosh.
name was Jen Darbelle. She was 50 years old. And when the SUV drove into the crowd celebrating the Lapu Lapu Festival, that's when she was injured by the vehicle. She was hit by it and she passed.
And there were a couple of other people that were injured and passed at that event as well. So it really was a tragic, intentional event.
Oh, yeah. It was not an accident.
The guy intentionally drove into the people.
Yeah, from my understanding, it wasn't even a drinking and driving accident. It was premeditated.
Ugh, sick.
It is sick. What's really sad is they have two children. One is 15 and the other is 7. And Noel and the children were all there with her. Noel said, quote, "Because my wife passed away behind me at the incident." And that is just so sad. They would have seen everything. Even if they were blocked from physically seeing her, you would have seen the car. You would have seen the carnage because 11 people died.
And I can't imagine she was that far behind him. They were probably walking together. Maybe she was a couple steps behind.
That would have been my guess. Or just, I'm going to grab something from this stand and I'll catch up with you guys, but they're barely ahead. I would imagine the same thing.
I saw a couple clips. I didn't know all the specifics about what happened, but I believe it took a little bit for authorities to get there. So even if she had been struck before he had turned around, he most likely had time to go and tend to her.
And he is actually currently on crutches.
Mm.
The article doesn't explain too deeply if he was also injured at the same time or if that was an existing injury. But he said, what you see here is an injury that means nothing to me because what's inside my heart is broken. So it does seem like he may have been hurt too. But again, the article doesn't truly explain. And I don't want to assume too much, especially since we have 3 people, 2 minors,
right?
Noel that survived this. But it seems like he also got hurt. And then his wife, who was behind him, died and is one of the 11 that died. And he's one of the many people who were injured. It's awful. But he says of her that She never celebrated herself in her life. She never thought of herself. She thought of herself as small in terms of the reach. And I can tell you that she was larger than life for any of you who know her. So don't be small in life, be big, reach out as a human being with everything you have. And please remember us who went through this.
Our thoughts and prayers and healing vibes are going out to all the families and people affected that day. That should have never happened. And it just shows how broken the world can be sometimes.
There is a GoFundMe that is set up for Noel. It was created by Michael Dangerfield, Dainger Field. So if you would like to donate, or you were moved or affected by the Lapu Lapu Festival as well, and you have the heart to do so, that would be a good cause to donate to. It does look like they've reached their goal thus far of 200,000, but I know that oftentimes when people are trying to donate, they might underscore or undercut, I guess, the overall goal so that it can help them get whatever donations that they can, or they just feel, and I know this could be specific to the US, but sometimes you feel, I don't want to use the word embarrassed because you shouldn't be, but you feel bad or undeserving when you're
or even
completely
just
deserving when you
exposed.
Don't have yeah, exposed. And there's just a lot of feelings, but when there's no social safety net to help you with that, don't feel bad when you need help asking for it. And that goes for everything, if it's financially or not. But so just really sad story, but so relevant since it just happened on the 26th, and he's in line with a ton of other families that are going through this right now. It's scary because you feel it was just a reminder that you can't go anywhere. Now, this is Vancouver.
Right.
Our neighbor to the north.
It's a reminder of all of our mortality.
Yeah.
And the sick people in the world that you may come across, and you never know when that day could be. And it's frightening and eye-opening. It makes you realize that the little things really are the little things, and not to sweat them because you never know what day is going to be your last.
It's sick how used to these types of events or incidents we are in the US, but to hear it happen in Canada, and I'm not saying that they're perfect, and every other country that's not the US is perfect when it comes to crimes or incidents like this, mass casualty incidents, but it is still more shocking to hear Canada. This is so US coded, which is sick. It's sick.
Australian authorities just released the footage belonging to that stabbing at the mall that happened last year. Not the footage of the act taking place, but of the female police officer who took down the attacker. He had a 12-inch blade that he went after women with. But it just shows that where people want to hurt others, they're going to find a way, and they're going to get creative with it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's something I think about too when I get invited to go to the movies or get invited to go to an outdoor event. Hate to admit it, but it does cross my mind of, is it going to be safe to be there? How many people are going to be there? Am I going at a busy time?
It stops me from wanting to go sometimes. It really depends on where is it and how long would an event like this be something we're in attendance at?
Or the exits even. If I do show up, who am I with? Where am I parked?
Right.
How fast could I leave? Where could I run for cover? I'm not even saying that to be dramatic. It's literally thoughts that run through my head.
No, these things happen every day, sometimes 2 to 3 times on average a day in the US. And I know in other countries it is a tenth of what we experience here, but it still doesn't mean that you're safe. And I hope it's not a sign that it's growing in other countries. I really do.
I agree. I hope that this is something that can be put under control, but it doesn't seem like it's getting controlled anytime soon, unfortunately.
You know what else isn't going to get controlled anytime soon and really grinds my gears?
Tell me.
Is all of the scamming. All of the scamming where it's the phishing type scams, right?
Oh, don't get me started on that, because literally I get so many spam calls. I get so many spam text messages. get them in my email. It's tiring. It's gross. Yep. Stop.
And they're trying to make you feel like you know them now. And that's not too new, but it's a little newer, where it's a fake message saying, hi, here's the report. Please click on this to your work emails, especially us in education, because they're trying to get access to student data by tapping into the system and getting your passwords and stuff. It's sick. But you want to know what they're doing now is they're wasting money sending you a gift from Amazon. Basically, they're sending you an item and then it comes with this code. And I forget what they say to make you want to scan the code, but just know if you didn't order it from Amazon, don't scan the code. Double check that it's not your neighbor, but don't scan anything on any kind of receipt that is coming with it. It's ridiculous. It's the same thing as the toll road text messages.
Yes.
Have you been getting those?
Oh, you know it.
The worst. The worst. Now, I thought because I live in an area, LA County has toll roads and stuff, or express lanes, and so does Orange County, and Southern California has toll roads and toll options. Not that they still don't put you in traffic, by the way. So anyways, now I thought because maybe I'm from a generalized area where these scammers know that toll roads exist overall, that's why maybe
you were targeted.
I was targeted, but you get on TikTok and these people are going, what is this? Or one of mine said Massachusetts or something. And I was like, sure, I wish I lived in New England sometimes. It's beautiful, but no. And it's weird. So I know in this day and age, we don't need to remind too many people not to click links, but we still do. So don't click links and things like that. But it's just irritating because it's ghost steal.
There's so many things that could be done in lieu of hurting other people financially, at least in this case. It's so dishonest because they're doing everything except
that,
trying to make money in a ethical way.
Yeah, it's irritating. One time our mailbox got broken and it has a lock on it. But that
people trying to steal your mail? Or did they steal it?
They did. Yeah. So that was fun and scary. And then because the mailbox was broken, our mail had to be held for a few weeks while the HOA fixed the mailboxes because it wasn't just mine. And that was irritating because you stole my pants that I ordered that were in the mailbox. Okay. So I had to spend money on that. That was not replaced at all. And thank goodness they weren't super expensive pants, but that could have been a pair of good American jeans for all they knew. But I was just laughing. I'm like, if I see you in my black joggers that I just had to rebuy, I still keep an eye out just in case. Because these people,
they live in the area.
Sometimes they live in the area. I know one time, you got to love the Ring app. I know that one time when packages and mail was being stolen, somebody had caught the person's face on the camera and they actually knew who it was, or at least somebody in the comments, or I forget because this is years ago now, but somebody knew whose son that was and he had been a problem. Unfortunately, due to addiction, this was a way that he was getting money and tapping in with fraud. And yes, it was really interesting. I think they doxed him in the comments too. I'm pretty sure they said the name of the father of this young 20s, like 20, 22-year-old. And that was some interesting neighborhood drama that was going on.
That neighborhood app is wild. Mine is always popping off. Someone the other day lost their tortoise. How far can a tortoise go? When did you notice it was missing? How long has it been missing? How far could it have gone?
Wait, no, because my tortoise ran away.
No, my brother's also, but he had it outside in a pen and it dug under and left. They dig. He escaped. He had a great escape and left.
Mine's name was Bullet. And I have made my parents confirm. Now, my parents were not liars to us growing up. They didn't try to protect us in that way. which I know sometimes parents wait until they feel something's more appropriate, so they sugarcoat things. My parents weren't really like that. So I did believe them when they told me, listen, Bullet ran away.
He sped off.
He sped off. His quote brother's name was Speedy, and my cousins had Speedy, but a Bullet and Speedy didn't get along, so we took Bullet. Anyways, so I believed them that Bullet ran away, but I confirmed as an adult, hey, did like a coyote get Bullet or anything? And you felt like that would be a little bit too scary for me and he really didn't run away, or did Bullet really run away? They're like, no, literally, we don't know where Bullet went. He just ran away.
This seems to be a trending story with owners of tortoises. Maybe that's just a thing. So we'll let that one slide on the neighborhood app then.
It's constant. My sister and I will read each other's neighborhood stuff, posts to each other, because it just gets so obnoxious. It's the helicopters. What's that? Did you hear that boom? Did you hear? People are living in flight or fight. And it's so sad to see, because I live in that too. Listen, I'm in like therapy for OCD. So it's really sad to me, but it's also funny. The helicopters, what's going on? It's every single day.
Or the lights flickered and people will be like, yeah, they're still on though.
Your power out? Anybody's power out?
There's like a list of 5 trending questions or posts that people make. There's always a tortoise missing. Someone sees a coyote. And then one time I saw someone say that they found a child, and everyone in the comments is, why are you posting on the neighborhood app? Call the police. What do you mean you found a child?
Literally, this is not 1950s do-it-yourself.
You don't need to investigate this. Call the authorities.
Oh, okay. You know what else are unethical posts, though? And I know this is taking a turn, but I've been really wanting to talk to you about it because I see it everywhere now. And it's actually sad to me. So companies, even Play-Doh, are commenting on viral posts. Are you up on TikTok? Are you up on the group chat saga?
No.
Oh, it's basically like a TV show this girl is making about this group of friends. And there was drama in season 1 about a boyfriend and one of the
These
girls.
are real people in a group chat?
No, it's just one creator and she plays all the characters.
Oh.
And you hear the story through the group chat, basically. And of course, there's some advancement. So you hear the story through the group chat, essentially. But again, there is some environment built. And we're on season 2 now. And it has gone viral. So I put a screenshot in our note for Unscripted for you to see.
I'm going to click on it.
Play-Doh, DoorDash, Betty Crocker, TripAdvisor. They're all commenting under one of the videos for season 2 of the group chat. Isn't that crazy though? TripAdvisor and Betty Crocker, they really care about the drama.
Well, they don't necessarily care, but they're commenting on a trending post and they're getting traffic to their own pages.
Yep, that's the whole point. And this is where it gets a little darker.
Is she working with them?
No, well, I mean, not that I know of, but that's, again, this is where it gets darker. You're taking me right into my point that they are commenting on viral videos. Sometimes it could be a really small creator and sometimes it could be a big creator. But either way, why are you, who as a company should have money to pay creatives money to be able to get your name connected with them? That is so inappropriate to give a free comment that, especially a bigger creator, doesn't need your free comment, by the way. But it's even grosser when it's a small creator. So, because get out of my viral video. And listen, I'm not the biggest fan of influencers, but when you look at it as a perspective of content creator, okay, and this girl is a content creator. She is creating a literal, extremely creative, hasn't truly been done before storytelling that is extremely intriguing and will suck you in when you find out the drama. And she does it in a way that's not drawn out. The story pops and you find out all the juicy details. It's fun. And that's not going to make me go buy Play-Doh, and not for a kid that I don't have either.
What's your demographic, Play-Doh? What do you mean? toddlers play with Play-Doh. Yes, the parent buys it, but why are you commenting on this specific video?
Exactly. There's no point but what you already pointed out of just getting the clout, getting your name on a viral comment thread so that people will see you because you've got a blue badge. So it's going to push
Go
things
to the
up
top
or whatever. And sure, a creator could welcome engagement. So there's that side of it too, but it's engagement that's not in good faith.
The type of engagement that I'll allow, if we're allowing these sort of things, is when you see a video and they talk about a specific brand and the brand shows up in the comments and says, hey, we sent you a DM, let's work this out, or we have a special gift for you, or we would love to send you something. I think that's really cool. But that's a little bit different than what these accounts are doing. They're just karma farming, basically.
Yes. And what you're explaining actually happened to Tara's World. Now, I can't say I'm a huge fan of hers. She wasn't really on my For You page a lot. Only one of her
Tara
videos.
Who?
Her name's Tara's World. I don't know her last name.
Oh, I was thinking Tara from the 90s, American Pie.
Tara Reid?
Why did I think of her? I don't know.
No, so her name is Tara's World on TikTok, and she loves music and loves music festivals. She's not shy about it. It's a big part of her content, which is why she wants to go. She should be buying tickets and writing them off, in my opinion. But she instead gets a lot of heat for begging brands to send her. Now, she has 5 million followers, but all of her friends had free tickets with other brands. So she goes on and she goes, this is so lame and unfair. I don't care how stupid I sound. I want to go to Coachella. Some brand, please send me. To me, that's transparent in a certain way, even though it's whiny and annoying and you make a lot of money on TikTok and you can write it off because you're a content creator. And I think more of the influencer side of it, though, she's not doing skits or interesting things like that.
I think it's a little cringe, though.
It's cringy. Absolutely. It's cringy. It's whining, somewhat transparent. Cool. You're not afraid to do it in front of fans, but you're also just showing your fans, I don't care what brand you are. I will promote you. Just send me. It's lame. And these things should probably be more regulated than they are. So Urban Decay pops in the comments just saying and says, check your DMs. The Urban Decay sends her to Coachella. She goes to the store. She buys all this Urban Decay stuff, which she probably got to write off after being sent there.
I wonder.
And they sent her probably a whole brand new line of makeup too anyways.
What if she was already sponsored by Urban Decay, but that was a way to gain traffic versus her posting the video of Urban Decay is sending me to Coachella and I went on a shopping spree. But if she posts, please, someone send me, and then Urban Decay comes, swoops in and saves the day.
Yeah. Yep.
They just look really good. So I wonder if it was all PR.
Yeah. That is a really great wonder. I never thought of it like that because you're exactly right. What if they go, okay, we're going to send you, pretend you've got nobody sending you. We'll write that we're going to be in your DMs. And then that'll be one video. Our second video can be you buying a bunch of products because we want them to see that you bought them. It hasn't been well received getting PR packages, but don't worry. We'll send you a lot of stuff too, or we'll reimburse you for what you buy, whatever it is. This could be a new way of things.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Then give us a third video of you getting ready with all the new products.
And then there you go. She hits all of her deliverables.
Yep.
That could very well be what it was.
Ooh, Natalie, you're so freaking smart. Oh my gosh.
Well, I remember a couple of years ago, there was this really popular song and I'm trying to think, it had the alphabet in it or something, or it was a countdown, something very simple.
Oh, yes. The A, B, C, D, E, F, U, by Gail.
That one?
Yeah.
Okay. So the girl who sings that song went on TikTok and made a post about, hey, give me some ideas. I'm going to write a song. Someone went and posted something like that. And that quote unquote inspired that song. Turns out the song was already written. And the person who put that comment was working with her in production of some capacity. And that was their way of promoting the song. So I wouldn't put it past some of these people.
And it worked too, because that song blew
to
up.
Promote collaborations in this way. It worked.
Yeah, it worked.
It was all over.
She ended up opening for Eras Tour.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, she opened when I went.
Oh.
Yeah. So it worked.
It definitely worked.
All somebody did was they went to the comment that she probably responded to that comment and then posted the song. That's my guess. So they were easily able to see who left the comment. They look at the name, they look her up, they could see right where that person works. And they're like, oh, that is easy. So yeah, I mean, they find creative ways to do marketing, and it's got to get more and more creative. Just like Emma Chamberlain was saying, the way that brands and influencers work together needs to get more creative. And I'm not talking about podcasts, because Emma Chamberlain even delineates podcasts, because it's different. We get an ad read, we read it to you,
and
after
it's
we
very
know that
clear
we support the product.
that it's an ad.
Yeah, it's clear. It sounds like a commercial when you're watching TV. Could be annoying. We understand and respect that. We listen to podcasts that do ad reads too, sometimes the same ones as we have. But she's talking about specifically these ones that are trying to blend it into certain things so that it's still interesting enough for you to watch it. Those things are going to have to continue to change. And with influencers that are video and Instagram based or TikTok based, it is a lot different, and it's going to have to continue to change and evolve.
Well, they're getting so creative, and it just reminds me of the lengths that people have gone to promote businesses in the past, or even television shows. I'm specifically thinking about when The Sopranos came out. They were promoting the show and nobody knew exactly what it was. Obviously, now we all know it's been out for years, but it's about the head guy of the mafia. And all around New York, you would see yellow taxi cabs with a fake arm hanging out of the trunk. And you would see like different sort of things to promote the show. So marketing has always been really creative, but this was a less expensive way to get their point across, doing it via TikTok. So yeah, I guess be wary of what you see online.
You know who else was caught being sneaky? Is none other than a Kardashian, even though we've already talked about them in this episode. But I wanted to talk about this with you. So Khloe's got a new podcast, and
yeah,
a photo shoot was filmed of her for the Kardashian, which you and I called it the Kardashians, the show, which you and I are behind on. Unfortunately, we're several weeks behind, both you and I. I don't know.
I'm only like one episode and a half in. So, but yeah.
I'm so behind. I need to catch up, but I'll probably end up binging. Anywho, so in an episode, they filmed this photo shoot, and it is for the cover of her podcast, like her podcast star, I should call it. And so people see she looks beautiful. I'll even show you. She looks
really good. And actually, I love that hair color on her.
Yeah, she looks great. But then you look at the podcast art. Wait till you see this. It's called Khloe in Wonderland, by the way. Look at this. It's so beyond
retouched.
Beyond a retouch. This is, I'm changing your face shape.
Your face structure.
I'm getting rid of your deltoid muscle. I'm getting rid of, it's so overdone. And that may have been an aesthetic she was looking for. Not that I would know or not, but it's just so overdone. It's one thing to quickly add edits with light or shading.
Or maybe you have a massive pimple on your forehead and cover it up. Like, girl, cover it up. We will allow that.
Listen, I don't even have an app that does that. What do they call it? Facetune or whatever. I don't even use that. But even just a picture that you take of the beach, there are things that can affect the quality of your photo that you can simply go in and edit out or fix to retouch. That's why photo editing exists. But this is pretty extreme.
But extreme photo editing is to be expected when any Kardashian or Jenner is involved.
It's true. But you want to know what doesn't appear too edited is those triceps. Man, she is sculpted.
She really is. She's taken her health and fitness journey so far since we first met her back in like the early aughts. Really admire that she was able to find this new lifestyle that she really loves and makes her feel the best she can.
She really seems to enjoy working out for several years now, and she looks so healthy. I wish I could look healthy.
I was going to say, I wish I had that love for exercise. Maybe one day.
And it's nice to see somebody that's in that arena make you feel, dang, I'd like to look healthy like that, instead of, I'd like to be that skinny or that this. It's just looks healthy and strong, but not overdone. She looks so good. So it's sad to me how much editing was really done for the cover art, but I hope that she is happy with whatever it is she's putting out there and that she likes it, because that's what matters at the end when you have a piece of your brain, like a podcast going out. So I guess I can respect it. I just hope somebody didn't look at her and do that for her and go, oh,
She had to have approved that, though.
You would think so at her
or
level.
her mother, who's her manager.
Listen, we said it before, we'll say it again. The devil works hard, Kris Jenner works harder. So.
Okay, so I want to stay in the realm of reality TV because I've got to talk about this new show I checked out over the weekend. It airs on TLC. It's called The Polyfamily. Have you heard of it?
I just heard of it last night, but I have no idea what it's about. Tell me everything.
First of all, we need to acknowledge that they were found via TikTok. I think they have 1 million followers on TikTok under the same handle, Polyfamily.
Oh, whoa.
It's exactly what it sounds like. The show follows a closed polyamorous quad. And for those who may be unfamiliar with what that means, it means that Sean is married to Taya and dating Alicia. And then Tyler is married to Alicia and dating Taya.
I'm eating all of this up. This has me written all over it.
They're raising a family together. So they all live together. 4 adults live together. They're raising 5 children. Or basically in the pilot episode, there are 4 kids and 1 on the way because Taya is pregnant with the 5th one.
Does she know who the dad is?
Oh, okay. Wait. Okay. So I'm going to get there. I'm going to get there. There's a lot. They basically have created this little village style setup where everyone has a role. So Sean stays home. Alicia and Tyler work full time and Taya works part time. Everyone helps with parenting. They've got labels. I forget who is who, but there's dad, mom, mama, and daddy. I really believe that there's a way to do this non-traditional family in a respectful way. But obviously, if it's going to be on TLC, you know that there's going to be drama and red flags abounding. The parenting is a little bit interesting and more so around how like all the kids fit into this. So one thing that stands out is the fact that they don't know or they won't acknowledge who the bio fathers are of the youngest 3 children. It's not because it's a mystery. It's just because they've chosen not to find out. The 2 older kids, because they were born before the quad was formed, they obviously know who the parents are. They were 3 and 4 or 4 and 5 when they initiated this relationship. Those older children are Tyler and Alicia's. The 3 younger children, 1 was born from Alicia, 1 was born from Taya. And then in the pilot episode, Taya is pregnant again for a second time because their 2 older siblings, whether they're half siblings or full siblings, we don't know, have that information. And I feel it's not just because it's a right children have emotionally, but it's also genetically. They need to know medical history. They need to know for their identity. They need to know for legal clarity. It could become a real big issue if the wrong person signed the birth certificate, which it turns out is dependent on who is the mom, and whoever she's legally married to, that is the person, the father that signed the birth certificate, even if it's not the bio father.
Interesting how they still had some kind of regard for the legal marriage for stuff like that. But I'm sure they're also trying to avoid other legalities too, because in most states, if not every state, or I'm not an expert, but I know, especially in Utah, even purporting to be polyamorous can be illegal, depending. Again, not a legal expert, but I know that being in a polygamous situation can bring a lot of fine lines within
a lot
law.
Of red tape.
And I know a lot of things have changed, even in Utah too. Already, I think something changed. Something went down from being a felony to not being a felony anymore. But I mean, again, there's still legal trouble. Just because it's not a felony doesn't mean you want to get cited as like a misdemeanor. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
yeah.
but,
I think that was something that the Browns, like Cody Brown and Janelle and Mary, all were afraid of. They were
why they left.
Obviously on
they
TLC.
Left Utah because of it. Yeah.
And this quad is actually based out of Washington, I believe. So I'm not exactly clear on the legality of polyamory there. But something I do want to acknowledge is that while the parents won't acknowledge who the bio fathers are, I really think it's not hard to tell who the dads are because The resemblance is obvious, I should say.
Okay, I want to watch and I want to tell you what I think.
Oh, please.
And then I'm going to tell you. I have work to do, my friend. I got to watch that. I got to catch up on the Baldwins. I got to catch up on the Kardashians.
I mean, you're going to be doing a lot of investigating from your couch, and please let me know.
This is on top of Yellow Jackets. The roster is full.
Yeah.
I cannot accept any more shows or movies.
Except this one.
It's a good thing that's more of a hobby of mine. You know what I mean? For some people, keeping up with things is exhausting. I mean, it is exhausting for me too, but because it's something they enjoy maybe only at night before bed. But this is what I do in my free time is hop on, and as long as I've done my exercising and my cooking and meal prepping or whatever, I'll pop on a movie, or that's what I do. In fact, it eats up my reading a book time, which I should read a book, but hey, even in the 1800s,
you're using your brain all day for your 9 to 5.
Tune it out.
So you know what? It's okay to turn off for a little bit or a couple of hours. But while you're watching this, there is something else I want to bring up that I want you to be on the lookout for, because in this episode, there's this moment that made me a little uncomfortable. And it's when both dads, Sean and Tyler, are at the table with a couple of the kids. I think there's 3 there. Tyler is talking to his daughter that he had prior to this polyamorous quad relationship. So she's 9 or 10 now. They're talking, and then Sean, the other dad, stops the conversation and tells her, "You're on punishment. You need to finish your food and get back to your room." That really rubbed me the wrong way, because that's not co-parenting. That felt like power tripping and like he was isolating her. What kind of discipline is this? I've never heard of being grounded and not being allowed to talk to your parent. It's not a difference in parenting styles. It's harmful.
Withholding communication is actually a form of emotional abuse.
Okay.
So the silent treatment is actually technically emotional abuse. Unless you're just requesting space to cool off, you should communicate that though. So you're still not withholding that communication. You're just saying, I'm going to need a bit before we speak. Because otherwise, if they're trying to speak to you and are like, hello, I'm trying to apologize or this or that, and you're just not answering, unfortunately, especially at an extended rate, it can be considered a form of emotional abuse. But listen, we've all kind of done that because sometimes you just don't want to talk to that person or whatever.
But for a
so
parent
you're not
to
an
a
evil
child,
person if you've done it. But right, a parent to a child is absolute emotional abuse. And like I said, you're not evil if you've ever done the silent treatment. I think we've all kind of done it.
I'm pretty sure I've done it, and
or you've just
I apologize to anyone that I have.
It's the same. And again, it doesn't mean you're some evil human and you're wrong. So spare us in the Spotify comments, please. But it is something to consider too. And I think of it sometimes too, if I'm in a heated moment with anybody, because I do tend to want to hash it out right away. So if I do go silent, that is probably me not being the most healthy. And then I figure that out and get rid of it as quickly as I can.
Yeah. I think we're all just learning as we live and trying to figure out what is an appropriate response. And clearly.
And so would they,
right.
The kid, like learning how to parent, but oof, that's bad. I think when you put yourself on TV, people are going to create opinions, and
you've got a point. This is a reality show. They're not just going to be showing a family budgeting and meal planning. That's boring. So there's going to be some friction between the adults, but I just feel like to bring the children into it is a little bit gross. And I really believe that whether or not Sean, the guy that was like, you're on punishment, you can't talk, I think either he got a really rough edit or he really is unlikable, because it does not seem like anyone else, any of the other adults like him that much.
Well, and shame on TLC. I mean, can I blame them?
They've been exploiting children forever.
They've been exploiting children since well before even the Duggars came on, I'm sure. But yeah, shame on them a little bit for keeping that. But I understand why they did from a show perspective, but shame on them for keeping that on the side of the child. In that, can you imagine being a child being disciplined, whether or not the parent disciplined you in the best way or not so the best way? You got to remember, in times like that, you're not your best self often. If you're heated about something, zero excuses for him. I'm just saying, so nobody's looking good in those moments. The child's in trouble, perhaps has disobeyed or whatever it is. And then you've got this parent who's ticked off, might be being inappropriate. It could just be an awful human being. We don't know, but that should be filmed and the child have that kind of trauma or whatever on national TV.
Can you imagine her going to school and people bringing that up? And I know it was recorded or filmed over a year ago. So maybe I'm sure she's over it.
Yeah.
When you're little like that, you're resilient, but it is a little sad.
We don't even get to see if he apologized or anything after, or you don't get the whole story.
I mean, yeah, we don't get all of it. We don't get any closure in that way. And it just made me think, does anyone else miss when TLC was actually the Learning Channel? Because that's what it stands for. We used to walk away from TLC knowing more about volcanoes or how they worked. And now we're watching shows where these people are saying, wait, who's sleeping in my bed tonight? Because they switch every night. So I don't know. It just was, it is a wild trip to think how far away from the Learning Channel TLC has gotten.
Hey, the shows suck me in.
That's what I was going to say. I guess it doesn't matter. We're tuning in anyway.
For the last, 20 years, I think is how long, for example, the Duggars have been on there. And that was really a turn towards these types of shows that showcase really alternative lifestyle and stuff.
Well, and you can see and feel the difference from the early specials on the Duggar family, because initially they would just catch up with them either every year or
every baby. Yeah.
Yeah, basically. So every year. And we would get an 2-hour-long look at the family's life. And it was much more observational. And then eventually they got their show and then we were in the house with them.
We were in deep. Yeah. Let's see. I think Jackson was the first baby born on a special.
Not Jace.
I'm sorry, 20 years old. Not Jace. Jace would have been very young at the time, like 4, but Jackson was born in 2004 or 5. So he's 20 years old. And he, I believe, was the 13 or 14 or 15 kids and counting. I can't remember what the first one was.
I was going to say, and I'm not going to double check that because I'm pretty sure you have those dates accurate.
Oh, I know how old they are for sure. Yeah, that's sad. And what's even worse is I can do it. I said this last time we were talking about the fundies, but I can do it for the Bates and I can do it for the Duggars. And that is sick. But this just shows you guys this other side of me.
No, I love that brain of yours. You can hold on to these facts because I feel like mine's slipping out of my fingers. I'm like, I don't know what happened. When that happened, where?
You know what? I get it from my grandma, of who I am a namesake for with my middle name. And I love carrying on that tradition and her name. So hey, thanks for that one, Mom. That was a good idea. Well, this is a great spot to close it off for this week's Unscripted. I always tell Natalie to talk to her for 5 hours. I literally said that right before.
I was going to say,
I have to stop myself.
We just talked about that before we pressed record, but
Yep. But always a joy. Thank you so much for listening, and make sure to tune in on Thursday for our true crime episode.
And we'll see you next Monday at Unscripted.
Bye.